All right, welcome back, guys. UFC 314 has just wrapped up. It was, honestly, we're going to dive into it, but it was a banger card. This was the first time I was truly excited about a UFC card this year. This one was sick, top to bottom, and honestly, the event held up. It was sick on paper, and it was sick in real life. It delivered. We're going to go through the fights, breaking them down, starting off with the first fights of the night, all the way to the main event. Let's dive into it. So, kicking things off, we got Nora Cannoli versus Haley Cohen. This was kind of just a little bit of a boring fight. Haley Cohen submitted her. She was clearly better on the ground. We're not going to spend too much time on it because there's tons of more good fights to dive into. And again, guys, like I said in previous videos, there's no point in spending time on the fights that we don't really care about. We're here to get shit done. So, Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio. Honestly, dude, this was, well, first of all, this was a sick fight. Like, it was a really good fight. But Tresean Gore, man, I remember watching him on The Ultimate Fighter, and I was never like, this guy's good on The Ultimate Fighter. I was watching The Ultimate Fighter thinking, this guy is not very good. And somehow he ended up in the UFC, and he's not doing very good in the UFC. I don't know if this is his third loss in a row. I can't remember. But I think he's about to get cut. It was a really sick fight. It was a dog fight. It was back and forth. It was... Did it make it distance? I don't think it made it the distance, if I remember correctly. I believe Marco Tulio finished him, right? Yeah, Marco Tulio finished him. But it was a back and forth absolute war in this fight. Not back and forth. There was absolute war in this fight because Marco Tulio was beating up Tresean Gore pretty much the whole time. Tresean Gore he's like a fighter that doesn't really have the game planning, and also he looks athletically fit, but he doesn't move very athletically at all. He's one of those guys that's like in good shape. He's not even in good shape. He's in okay shape, but he doesn't move. He doesn't have this athletic movement. He doesn't have this. He's not fluid at all. And he just doesn't, he's not really stand out in any area. Like, he's not like good enough all around. He's like mid all around, and he doesn't stand out in any area. If you want to be like insanely good striker and then your other areas are just, you know, mid, that's okay. But you can't just be mid all around. And he's kind of mid all around. Marco Tulio looked amazing in this fight. He had some crazy, I want to say like striking, but he had a really good diversity in his strikes. He was mixing it up well. He was keeping Tresean Gore guessing. He was hitting with the big shots, spinning back kicks, front kicks, always tapping, always whenever Tresean Gore is in rage, hitting him with something. Striking looked really good. The variety of attacks was very good. And he was throwing some big shots, but then also mixing it up with, you know, smaller shots just to keep Tresean Gore guessing and keep him busy. Front kicks to the middle, literally everything. Marco Tulio is a problem, dude. At this weight class, Marco Tulio is really good, and he put it on Tresean Gore. Eventually hurt him, and when Tresean Gore was on the ground, he just kept spamming him. spamming ground and pound until obviously there was nothing left for Tresean Gore. Sumer Darji versus Mitch Raposo. Dude, Sumer Darji is a unit for 125. Not even that he's big, he's just like, I mean, you can look at this picture of him and you're just like, yo, this guy's a langster. He doesn't quite have the Sean Woodson build, which we'll get into later, but he is pretty big, or tall for 125. He does have kind of tiny legs, I'm not going to lie, but he seemed very strong in clinch positions in this fight and held up really good against Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo, people have been talking about him like he's a really good, really talented fighter. He just doesn't, in my opinion, he just doesn't want to fight. He's just doing enough to try to win the fight on a close decision. And you're always going to be disappointed when you do that. If you're trying to win a fight via close decision, you're never going to be happy with the outcome. So that's pretty much what happened here. Sumer Darji, in my opinion, he should have won the fight. Like, people were saying, oh, like, it was kind of like a robbery for Mitch Raposo, or Mitch Raposo should have won. There was a split decision. I honestly thought that Sumer Darji could have given him all 3 rounds. Mitch Raposo literally wasn't doing anything in the grappling. He threw barely. What was the significant strikes? Like, the total strikes thrown were 13 from Mitch Raposo. So that's awful. That's absolutely awful. Sumer Darji, I think the whole fight, like, able to defend Mitch Raposo's takedowns, no problem. Mitch Raposo literally could not take Sumer Darji down, and whenever he did, Sumer Darji would get up right away, and Mitch Raposo would try to hold against the fence, but honestly, Sumer Darji would just, like, turn off the fence and get out of there, no problem, and then just keep beating Mitch Raposo out on the outside, up on the outside with, like, striking. Sumer Darji's the better striker. His takedown defense was really good. I think he was on a two-loss fight streak or two fight loss streak. I don't know how you want to say it. My brain is hurting right now. I was in Europe for all these fights, so I just flew back the other day, and I had to try and watch these at like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I understand the pain of being a UK MMA fan now. I really, really do. But I found this sick website where I can watch all the fights afterwards. So I watched half of them the next day, which was awesome. But honestly, Sumidarji just kind of beat up Mitch Raposo. Mitch Raposo didn't change up the game plan. Somehow he thought that he might have done enough doing this. He needs to become more of a gritty fighter, and he's not. His wrestling isn't good enough. Like, his wrestling is good, yes, but it's not good enough to deal with people, especially at this level. Like, if he can't take down Sumidarji, he's not going to take down the other guys. His striking, if he's not going to be able to strike with Sumidarji, he's not going to be able to strike with other guys. He needs to change something up. He needs to take more risks, and he needs to really double down on one aspect of it if that's what he's going to do. Because, you know, there's always these people that say, like, oh my God, he's like a collegiate wrestler, or like he was like the best in his state. Yeah, that's a fucking state. Like, I hate that. He's like, oh, like he won the state championship for wrestling. That ain't shit. Like, or he's like a high school vet, or like he's a university, like this university wrestling champ. That ain't shit. Like, I'm like ranked probably number 5 in Canada for freestyle skiing right now. And that ain't shit. That's in Canada. That's the world. That's not even a province. That's not even a state. Like, let's say you're like the second best, third best in your state, that ain't shit. That's like probably like 300th, 400th, 500th best in the world. Like, that ain't shit. Like, if you want to impress me with like wrestling stats, you better impress me with like, okay, like I was in the Olympics for wrestling, like, or top 5, like in the world for wrestling, not a state champion. Because yeah, you're a state champion, but the fuck does that mean? That's a state. There's like probably 1 million people in Russia right now that would beat your ass in wrestling. I don't know. I understand that it's like supposed to be a big thing, but it's like going like, it's like if you were not even in the like B League or the OHL of the NHL, like you're not even on the farm team. Like, I'm a state champion or whatever. Like, yeah, but that's like if you were like 3 tiers down from being in like the NBA. Like, you're not there. Anyways, I think that those guys just don't have the skills, wrestling-wise, to deal with high-level athletes that have really good takedown defense and only drill takedown defense, because they're going to be really good at takedown defense. And they're also allowed to do so many different things. Wrestling, like, just for wrestling, it's really good, but when you're wrestling people, the other person's also trying to take you down, so you can reverse them. They're not just trying to stand up the whole time. They're not just trying to defend the whole time. They're also trying to be aggressive. When you're trying to wrestle somebody who's only being defensive in the wrestling, it's way, way harder. And then when you're including the fact that they can punch you, knee you, and kick you in the head and have a fence, it's a million times harder. So you better be the most elite wrestler ever. Like, we see people like Henry Cejudo. Again, a lot of these guys that have crazy wrestling stats back in the day, they haven't trained wrestling, like pure wrestling, in years. That's why they also aren't as good at wrestling as they used to be. So I think that's a big thing to think about. Cedric Dumas versus Michal Jacek. I had him winning coming in this fight. I wanted him to win, and I mean, he did beat Cedric Dumas's ass. Cedric Dumas was complaining it was an early stoppage. I didn't think it was that early of a stoppage. He basically just didn't do anything. He was kind of lying on the ground, and Michal Jacek was just beating him up, just smashing him from the top. Literally throwing unanswered ground and pound, even though he was kind of covering with his hands. Like, he's throwing elbows, and just because your hands are here doesn't mean you're not going to get hit with these elbows. It's not going to hurt. Like, Cedric Dumas is just, like, literally covering up like this, letting Michal Jacek literally just drain elbows on his guard, punch around the guard. Like, he's punching him here in the side of the head. That shit hurts. If you ever get punched like that by somebody, like, even if you have your hand up and somebody, even with boxing gloves, comes around and smacks you in the side of the head with a hook or anything, literally, or just literally elbows the shit out of your forearms, it's gonna rock you, it's gonna hurt you. And Cedric Dumas just did not do enough. He got hit with a very clean shot right at the beginning. Michal Jacek's striking was just better, and once it went to the ground, he just pummeled him. And Cedric Dumas didn't even try to defend himself. Well, he defended himself, but he didn't move at all. Next, Damage Elkins. Darren the Damage Elkins versus Julian Erosa. Well, first time I watched Darren Elkins fight, and I thought, this guy sucks, and he's kind of dumb, and he's kind of retarded, and I don't even know how he's in the UFC. I don't know why this ain't loading right now, which is kind of a crazy, harsh statement. And in that fight, like I said, I was like, damn, Darren Elkins has no fluidity in his movement. He has no athletic ability, really. And he's kind of just throwing sloppy striking and kind of mid-grappling. But he got beat up the first 2 rounds. I was right. And then the third round, somehow after getting beat up so much in those first 2 rounds, he came back, won it, and subbed the dude. So I never really doubted Darren Elkins since that. But Julio Rosa in this fight honestly pieced up Darren Elkins in the striking. He was way cleaner, way better variety of shots. Darren Elkins isn't taking the damage like he used to. You can see in this fight that he just was not taking these shots like he used to. Like normally, I think 2-3 years ago, Darren Elkins would have taken those shots and kind of worked his way back into the fight. He was still kind of there on a single leg at the end, but the amount of shots he's taking and just the damage and do we really want this guy to be a vegetable after his UFC career? No. So I think it was a good stoppage, and hopefully we kind of see his career come to an end. I mean, it was sick watching him fight. He's had some great fights. He's had some good wins in the UFC, but it's at a point where he's just going to get beat by these guys and just going to get damaged more. So Chase Hooper versus Jim Miller. I'm just going to refresh the page here. Hopefully this fixes. I'm not connected to the internet. Are you kidding, brother? Listen here, brother. Listen here, brother. This is also something I was kind of bummed about in the fight, is I really wanted our boy Bryce Mitchell. I really wanted our boy Bryce Mitchell to come in with a hot dub, so I could just go on a whole UFC rant of listen here, brother. The brother thing. Listen here, brother. I just want to go fishing. I just want to go fishing, brother. This was getting on my mind. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about doing a full I don't even know what to call it. A full Bryce Mitchell rampage rant about the fights, but I just never got to because bro got cooked. But we'll get into that in a second. Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper, not that I never rated him as a fighter. I always thought he was kind of a little bit too frail, a little bit too fragile, and just didn't cause enough damage when he was fighting up until the last couple fights. Still, he didn't cause enough damage, and I also thought striking was bad, but Jim Miller in this picture looks like a bag of milk, dude. Oh, God, poor guy. But Jim Miller is a really good fighter, and honestly, a pretty good win from Chase Hooper. I would like to see Chase Hooper get Jim Miller out of there. I think he probably could have if he wasn't always going for subs, and he also just decided to cause more damage in the ground and pound. I don't think Chase Hooper is one of these guys like Khamzat or one of the other fights later in the card that I'm forgetting about for some reason, Patty's fight, that just cause a lot of damage when they're on top or when they're in these positions on the ground. Chase Hooper just goes for subs and stuff like that, which is fine, and he is really good grappling, but he needs to cause a little bit more damage, I think, when he's on the ground to make him, A, more interesting fighter, and B, open up the submissions more. And also, I think if he was just hitting Jim Miller with bigger shots instead of trying to get this truck submission or whatever the heck you want to call it, he probably would have found a submission or just damaged Jim Miller enough where the ref would have stopped the fight. I think there's something to just, unloading in ground and pound when you're in these positions, especially dominant positions. But he did look strong in this fight. His grappling looked really good. His striking looked really good. It's a good win. I think it's time for Chase Hooper to fight. I mean, he's fought 2 old heads now. It's time for him to fight somebody in the rankings and somebody that's kind of his age and his strength. I think Chase Hooper has grown into his strengths, or his body frame, his strength. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten more physically developed as an athlete. But do I think he's anywhere close to some of these guys in his weight class? Fuck no. I think he's still going to be weaker than a lot of the guys his age in the rankings in his weight class. And I think he's going to have a hard time out-muscling them, especially in the grappling. I know he's got slick grappling, but I think some guys that are got good grappling like Jim Miller that are going to be his age and a little bit more wiry and strong are going to give him a lot of difficulties. Yan Xiaonan versus Jan Daroba. Honestly, I was really thinking Yan Xiaonan would get this done based on her last fight with was it her last fight? I don't know why I said her last fight. Based on her fight with why am I forgetting her name? Anyways, she's current champion right now. But she got mauled in the grappling. I didn't think Verena Jandaroba's grappling was... I knew it was good. I knew it was high level. I just didn't think it was completely dominate Yang Xiaonan level. And it was. Her striking didn't look great, but didn't look bad either. It's definitely improved. But her grappling, it was just super overpowered against Yang Xiaonan. And then Yang Xiaonan, I mean, she was firing in the feet and she was trying to unload. And Yang Zhanan's a really, really good fighter. I think one of the things that she has going for her, she's not giving up in any of these positions. She's always looking to cause damage. She's always looking to fight out submissions. And she's not accepting positions anywhere. So I think Yang Zhanan does a really good job of that. I think she's a little bit behind in the grappling, obviously, against Verna Jandiroba. But I think she made a couple mistakes in the striking where she allowed Verna Jandiroba to close the distance, to get her, to hold her, to get her down, to take her down. I think if she was able to manage her distance a little bit better, not necessarily have to fight like very cautious and on the back foot and not throw at all. I just think there were some spots. Well, I mean, at one point in the fight, she reverse positioned, got up, and then tried to cause ground and pound damage on Verna Jandiroba when Verna Jandiroba was on her back, which I think probably would have been better separating and just, letting it go back to the feet. But I was also looking at it like, damn, this girl is not afraid to go to the ground with Jandiroba, even though she just got beat up there a little bit. And she's looking to cause damage. She wants to get it back. She wants to stop this fight. She's looking for finishes. I think that's something really, really good on Yang Zhanan's part. And I think, honestly, one day she's going to be up there. I could see her. No, I was going to say up there at the very top, but she already is. She's like the number one ranked atom weight, I believe. But I think she could be champion one day, especially once Zhang Weili, that's why I'm forgetting it, Zhang Weili's gone. And I think she could beat Verna Jandiroba, but she's going to have to work on her grappling a little bit. Verna Jandiroba is going to be a tough person to beat for everybody except Zhang Weili. I think Zhang Weili is just a little bit too strong, too muscular, and has too good a takedown defense for Verna Jandiroba, and then she's going to be so much better everywhere else in the fight. But Verna Jandiroba for the title shot next, I believe it's the right thing to do. Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. Dude, this mustache is immaculate. It's just immaculate. Some people were thinking Sean Woodson was winning this fight coming into the stoppage. I thought Dan Ige was doing enough to win the fight. Sean Woodson, he's good. He's an interesting fighter. He has good striking. His striking didn't look great against Dan Ige, mostly because I think he was a little bit more afraid of the big shots coming his way. Normally, he's a little bit more offensive, I would say, and he's just throwing a lot straight shots down the pipe. Whereas here he was kind of picking and choosing his shots a little bit more against Dan Ige. Dude, Dan Ige is really good. I think he's underrated, and I think he's on the come up. I think people are saying I heard MMA Guru talking about it, he's kind of like a Bryce Mitchell level win. I think he's better than Bryce Mitchell. I think Dan Ige is somebody that's going to get up there to that close to that top 5 in the featherweight division. Is it featherweight or is it bantamweight? I can't remember. Why can't I remember? Brother, listen here, brother. Anyways, in that I believe it's bantamweight. Featherweight? No, because you fought Dayuuuuummm, so featherweight. In that featherweight division. But dude, I really do think he's going to be up there. I think he's good enough. I think he's well-rounded enough. He's very calm. He's very patient in fights. He's not overextending himself. He always comes with a good game plan. He always sticks to it. He's got good cardio. He's got good grappling. He's got good striking. He's got a variety of striking. He didn't use as many kicks. He was sticking to more of a boxing-based striker for this fight. I think I would like to see him add a little bit more diversity into his shots, but he has power. I think he's really good. I think he's definitely somebody that we're going to see up close to that top 5. Do I think he can beat that top 5 echelon of the 145s? Probably not, honestly. But he's kind of got this Volk build, but he just doesn't quite have the variety. Everything he has is similar to Volk, in terms of stat-wise, where he's good all around, but it's just a little bit lower. His grappling isn't quite as good as Volk's. His striking and variety isn't quite good as Volk's. He just has some big power. But anyways, I do think Dan Ige is very good. He looked good against Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson is a problem for a lot of people in this division, but I think you can just bully him a little bit. And Dan Ige hit Sean Woodson with a big shot, dropped him. Sean Woodson, to be fair, was in the fight. It was an early stoppage, 100%. And Dan Ige was just throwing shots at him ground and pound, hammer fist at him while Sean Woodson was trying to get back up to his feet. It was an early stoppage, but Dan Ige was going to win that fight the way it was going, so it's not the end of the world. I would like to see Dan Ige, he's in the rankings now, but I'd like to see Dan Ige, or he was before, but I'd like to see Dan Ige up. I would like to see him move up, fight maybe somebody in the top 12, top 13 of the division. Somebody else below him. he deserves a big fight next. He's on a couple fight win streak and he's looked really, really good. I mean, the last guy I think he's lost to was Diego Lopez, and it was a really close fight on short notice. So he should get some credit for that. Nikita Krylov, everybody was hyping this guy up. To be honest, I haven't really seen Nikita Krylov fight that much before. I probably have in the past, but I wasn't really paying attention. Like, dude, this guy's the boogeyman. Nikita Krylov's the boogeyman. He's gonna come back and make a huge tear. He does kind of look like the boogeyman in this picture here. And Dominic Reyes looks kind of chunky, bro. I ain't gonna lie. All good. Nikita Krylov didn't look that good in this fight. Dominic Reyes looked really good. He looked like his old school self, where he's really, really slick in the striking and stand up. He has good kicks. He has good variety in his kicks, but he's really good at those pullback twos, the Sean O'Malley stuff, the Conor McGregor stuff. He fights southpaw, and he has some really good counters. Dominic Reyes has always had good counters. And Nikita Krylov just charged in with his head up. And he got absolutely clipped by Dominic Reyes. That's one thing about Dominic Reyes that we all kind of forgot, because he's been getting knocked out in the past, but he's back now. But he has good power. He has knockout power. Absolutely has knockout power. And he moves really well, really athletically. Like, you look at these two people and you think, okay, Nikita Krylov is probably the better athlete. Dominic Reyes is by far the better athlete. Again, I think it's something to do with like these people that have done multiple sports, multiple different things growing up outside of just fighting. They're not as rigid in their movements, so they're more fluid. They have just better movement patterns. And Dominic Reyes is really, really good with his movement, and he's really, really good with his counters, and he has knockout power. I don't know what else to say, man. It's really what it is. His movement was better. He has good counters. He countered Nikita Krylov really well, and it didn't look like a shot that would KO somebody cold, but Dominic Reyes has power, and he KO'd him cold. Let's put him up against somebody else in the top of this division. I think he's like 2 fights away from a title shot, 1 fight away from a title shot, because there's really nobody up there. And he's a really good fighter, honestly. Like, I want to see him do well in this division. What is this shit popping up here? Listen here, brother. John Silva beat my ass. John Silva beat his ass so bad. People are really hyping Bryce Mitchell up as like, he's actually really good. He's underrated. I think Bryce, listen here, brother. I think Bryce Mitchell is good. I really do. But I don't think he's better than like a Dan Ige. I don't. I don't think he's better. I was going to see if he's in the rankings, but I don't think he's better than like a Dan Ige. I think his striking is okay. I think his grappling is good, but it's overhyped. Like, I don't think his takedowns and his wrestling is that good. I think his submission grappling and his transitions are good. I don't think his submission defense is that good. Obviously, he got absolutely submitted by Silva, and he got submitted by Topuria. If Bryce Mitchell was the elite of the elite grappler that we are saying he is, he would not have got submitted by Topuria, and he would not have got submitted by Silva. Like, it's just facts. He's good. He's really good on the ground. He's got like twisters, all these crazy submissions. I think he's good against most people. I don't think he's great. He's not like this next level submission artist where it's just like you cannot go to the ground with him. You can. You absolutely can. And I think a lot of the top guys in the top 10 will probably, out-grapple and out-submit Bryce Mitchell. Everybody else in the UFC roster in that weight class probably cooked, but that top 10 against Bryce Mitchell, obviously, like, not Yair and those guys, but the other guys are going to be able to handle Bryce Mitchell or get back up with their feet in the grappling. John Silva looked absolutely amazing in this fight. I kind of wanted Bryce Mitchell to win, and I honestly didn't think John Silva was going to look this good. Dude looks super, super good. I was just watching the UFC Fight Pass thing, like visiting the fighting nerds and talking about how they think about fighting and strategy and all that stuff, and you can really see how they think about it. They really think about control in the octagon and control in the fight and footwork and where you are, like, placement-wise in terms of everything. John Silva's, like, octagon control, like, in that cage is really, really, really good. Like, no matter where he is, he's in control of the fight. He's the one that's controlling the fight, and Bryce Mitchell's the one that's reacting this whole fight. Even in the beginning of the fight when Bryce Mitchell was landing some good low kicks or whatever, like some like lead leg thigh kicks, John Silva's like taking them casually. He knows they're coming. He's accepting the fact that he's going to get hit with them, and he's still there controlling the octagon. He's making his presence be felt. Like, he's really, really good in the striking. His good variety. His mental space there looks amazing. Like looks like he's super confident, just very in control, very calm, very in the moment when it comes to fighting. Super, super good, dude. He's really, really good. His grappling, I didn't think his grappling was, I thought it was good, but like I didn't think it was this good. He easily out-grappled Bryce Mitchell, easily defended all the takedowns, and he was calm, he was patient, he knew exactly what to do in every position. Bryce Mitchell, the finish obviously came in the second round. I mean, he almost put him to sleep, Bryce Mitchell to sleep in the first round with the guillotine. He jumped to guillotine. It was super tight. Bryce Mitchell didn't quite tap, somehow got his head out after a long time in that guillotine, and John Silva immediately just wrestled his way back up to his feet, pieced Bryce Mitchell up on the feet. And then when it came to, what am I saying? When it came to the finish, like, Bryce Mitchell's trying to shoot single legs on John Silva. He's defending them easily. He's elbowing him in the back of the head. He's like, okay, like, got a couple elbows in. He's going to try to go for a takedown. I'm going to latch up this ninja choke. Literally just slid his arm in, latch up. He has really, really good awareness in the fight. Just latched up the ninja choke. And I have never seen somebody tap like that quick from a ninja choke. And he didn't even only tap quick. He went out to sleep. Bryce Mitchell went right out to sleep. Great win by John Silva. I don't think it's time to say, like, yo, he's going to be champion, like, very soon. But I think one day he can be, and he probably will be for sure. I think he has a really, really good all-around skill set for fighting. And I think he has the right mindset. So I would like to see him fight one or two more people in the top 10 now and then give him a title shot. He's ready. Honestly, he is ready. I would not be surprised if he just blasts through some other people in this division. Somebody like a Yair, I think he could. I don't think like he's gonna have problems with these guys. Also, I don't really rate Yair, to be honest. So I really used to rate Yair. We'll get into this fight now. Yair versus Pitbull. I really used to rate Yair. I thought his striking was really good. His striking is really good. It's just he's just missing some stuff. He's just missing a little bit of that drive to dominate in fights. He's looking to win. He's not looking to dominate. And this fight, that was pretty clear. Like, he was very, I know he's on a 2-fight losing streak, so he wanted to get a win back against Patricio, which is totally fair. Like, you want to come in, make sure that you get that win no matter what. I understand. But there's a difference between John Silva, who's dominating a fight and dominating these people and doing it any way he wants, compared to Yair, who's, outpointing people for a win and avoiding going to the ground at all costs, right? Whereas John Silva's like comfortable in all these positions and he's actively looking to finish a fight. And not only actively looking to finish a fight, looking to finish a fight in impressive fashion by honestly any way he wants. Like, he's looking for viral moments. He's just looking, at this point in his career, he's just looking to get a dub. I mean, back in the day, he was, doing some crazy shit, getting some viral KOs that way, but I feel like not as much anymore. Patricio Pitbull looked honestly pretty shit in this fight. So many people hyping Patricio Pitbull up, and bro literally just didn't do anything. I don't understand what he thought he was going to do by coming to the UFC and like just letting Yair kick him 5 times for every shot he threw back. I don't know if he thought maybe he would win the fight that way, but I don't know. I was not impressed. I was not excited after watching the first round. I kind of knew it was going to go this way. Still an interesting matchup, still a good fight, but it wasn't like a fight like, dude, I can't wait to watch Patricio Pitbull fight again. I'm so happy he's in the UFC. It was like, well, this guy's kind of overhyped, to be honest. And like, do we really need him in the UFC? Probably not. But whatever, we'll see. Hopefully he flips the switch for his other fights. But there's something to be said. We've talked about this a lot in other videos. There's something to be said about fighters that just look for that one big knockout shot to finish the fight and rely on that. You can't do that. You just lose. You just literally 70-80% of the time you're gonna lose if you're just looking for one shot to finish the fight. That's something that John Silva does really, really well. Yes, he has power, but he's not looking for a knockout shot. He's looking to control and dominate the fight, and if the shot comes, the shot comes. But no matter what, he's gonna win that fight, whether he gets a finish or whether it goes the distance. That's not something Patricio Pitbull is doing. That's not something that these other guys we're talking about are doing. They're just like, okay, it's okay if I'm losing the fight because I had this one chance. I have a chance to get one shot and knock him out. It's just, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It very rarely happens. And if you ever find yourself counting on one shot to finish the fight, or like one submission or whatever, or like getting in a lucky position or getting in a certain position, then you're fine. You're absolutely fine. I don't know what to tell you. Dayuuuuuummm looked okay in this fight. He looked good and like not the best year I've ever seen, to be honest. Kicks are super fast, punches are super fast, ground and pound is kind of meh, but not bad. It was an easy fight for him to win because Patricio Pitbull didn't do anything. Like literally, as long as you threw more strikes than him, you're gonna win the fight, and that's exactly what happened. So whatever. Mikey Mike, Chandler, Mikey Mike, Spiky Mike. Dude, I was so excited when Chandler got in the UFC and knocked out Dan Hooker. Although Dan Hooker is one of my favorite fighters. But I was like, dude, this guy's going to be so good. Like, we could see him, like, win, like, the title and some crazy shit. Bro's on the decline. I don't know what it is, but I think Chandler's time is up. Obviously, the talent pool in this division is high. He's only fought the best guys, minus Tony Ferguson. But he's not winning these fights, and I just don't see him winning a title shot or doing... I mean, he's got a mission if he wants another title shot. So maybe if he's just having a couple more fights for some money and some entertainment purposes, great. But dude, he's had a tough time this last couple fights, and he's lost a lot of fights in the UFC. Like, he's won 2. One of them is against Tony Ferguson. And honestly, yeah, he KO'd Dan Hooker, but I think Dan Hooker, if they ever fought again, would just destroy Chandler. And I think it wasn't a fluke KO, but like, it was lucky. Like, he got hit, he landed a big bomb, and it happens. But dude, he got destroyed by Pimblett. I didn't think Pimblett was going to destroy him that much. Pimblett looked really big for that weight class. He looked focused, locked in the stare downs and in the fight and during the cage. He looked very determined, which is something that, not that I haven't seen out of Paddy Pimblett before, but he looked dialed in, ready for, like, he's like, I'm ready to show these guys I'm better and ready for like that next level of competition, and he absolutely looked like it. One thing I wanted to say about Paddy Pimblett in this fight that I thought was really, really impressive is he's vicious. He's looking to cause damage everywhere in the fight. His striking on the feet looked good. It wasn't super sloppy, but when he was on the ground in the grappling, he looked amazing, but he was always looking to cause damage. He wasn't leaving himself in a position, but he was always looking to cause damage. And that's something I think a lot of fighters don't do when they're in these positions. Paddy Pimblett was landing knees, elbows on the ground, in the grappling, literally everything he could do to cause damage against Chandler. And it was like, it was very clear. Like, Chandler was bleeding everywhere. He landed an amazing knee when Chandler went to shoot a takedown and throw a big bomb. Dude, great win by Paddy. Like, he's ready for the next level. Chandler, I don't think is that next level. Like, Chandler, we always think of him as a top 5 UFC fighter. I don't think he's top 5. I think he's maybe top 10. But Pimblett is ready for those next guys he called out. He called out Arman, calling him a little fucking helmet, which is insane. Dude, the Scouser or whatever, the UK, European dialect for making fun of people is hilarious. He's literally just calling people fucking shampoo bottles or whatever the kind of random object he sees. He's like, you're a little fucking lighthead. And he's looking at the light bulb up there. He's like, okay, well, what's over there? A wallet? I'm going to call this guy a wallet. And like, it's like almost as if calling somebody a random object is an insult. But it is pretty funny. And he's ready. He's ready for these guys. Does he beat an Arman? Probably not. But could he? I could see it. I think that's something like against Arman is good. His grappling is really good. He's not causing damage. He's not looking to cause damage like Paddy Pimblett is. Paddy Pimblett is vicious. He's looking to bust you open. And I think that's something that's going to help him a lot in this division and go a long ways in these fights. So I'm excited to see what's next, dude. I think he's ready for the next step, and he's proving to us that he's improved a lot. Proving to us that he's improved. He has improved a lot since his previous fights. He's ranked number 12 right now. Chandler's ranked number 7. So give him somebody above Chandler, honestly. Give him somebody in the top 5 for sure. Volk is back. Listen here, guys. I'm back. I've been on the farm with the kangaroos. Volk looks absolutely bald in this picture, because he is. But dude, Volk looked great in this fight. I was very, very impressed with Volk. His fight. I really like Diego Lopez. I think everybody here likes Diego Lopez. I don't think anybody has anything against Diego Lopez. He's a great fighter. He's an entertaining fighter. He seems like a really nice guy. He's great for the division. I would have liked to see... I really want to see Diego Lopez as a champion one day. I just don't want to see it over Volk, because Volk's the GOAT, man. Volk is just Volk. We have to see it back. It's so awesome to see this guy back on top of the fights. or on top of the featherweight division. I don't know if I sound stupid, but great to see him back on top of the featherweight division. He looked good in this fight. He's doing a lot of low kicks at range, the jabs. But one thing I liked about Volk this fight compared to like the Topuria fight was he wasn't afraid to sit down in the pocket and fire. Whereas against Topuria, he was very, 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 again, Topuria has big power. We get it, and really good boxing. Definitely better boxing than Diego Lopez, and definitely better power than Diego Lopez. But Volkanovski didn't really play, and he said this before in interviews and stuff like that, but he didn't really fight his fight against Ilia Topuria. He fought a fight to avoid Ilia Topuria's game. Like, I think you have to fight no matter what. It's really hard to do, but no matter what, and no matter what position you're in, you have to fight your fight. And Alexander Volkanovski's fight is mixing and grappling and takedowns, tons of like sneaky technical shots on the feet, jabs at range, low kicks at range, mixing up stances, feints, lots of good counters, sitting down on big punches, and mixing in the grappling. And against Ilia Topuria, he just fought very scared and Alex Volkanovski usually likes to be the guy who's not necessarily he's got good counters, he likes to be good counters, but he likes to be the guy leading. Like, he's the guy that's throwing first, and if you throw back, he's going to counter, or he's going to get out of the way, and he's going to tap you, like, he's going to throw a low kick, and then step out of range, or move to the side, or counter on whatever you throw back, or he's just going to hit you with 2 or 3 low kicks when you're not quite ready, or you're just circling around. It doesn't have to be big shots, but he's kind of leading. He's tapping at range, he's stepping in with big shots, he's countering when the time comes, and he's mixing in takedowns really, really well. Against Ilia, he was really just playing way more defensive than he normally does, and I think that's part of the reason why he got caught. I did notice it a couple times in this fight. He has the same habit that he got caught with Ilia Topuria against, where he just kind of sometimes if he's moving back a little bit in a straight line, or he's not quite moving back fast enough, he'll raise his hand, his head back like this, and he'll keep this arm up sometimes, but sometimes it's like this, where it's just chest up and getting your head out of the way instead of just moving your whole body out of the way. Whereas normally, he'll just step back with his whole body or his feet. Sometimes if he's getting rushed, he'll step back a couple times, and if he's still getting rushed, he'll start to lean his head back. And that's when he got caught against Ilia Topuria, and that's where he got caught against Diego Lopez. I'm sure he knows it's a hole in his game, and he's working on it. He asked, what did I get hit with in the corner of the second round when he got clipped by Diego Lopez? It's that same thing. He was moving straight back in the straight line, and he starts to, if he gets really pressured back, and he's not moving his feet back fast enough, he'll start to lean his head back, which is where he got caught. One thing that I really liked that he did in this fight is that other times, that was the only time he did it, other times he'd move back, and if Diego Lopez was still pressuring, he would sit down on a big right hand, or sit down on a big punch in the pocket. He would hold his base, hold your fucking base. He would hold his base. Sorry, my Conor McGregor accent is awful. But he would hold his base, he would hold that, he would take a couple steps back, get out of range, and if the guy was still coming, instead of leaning back and lifting his chin to get it out of the way, where he was getting clipped, those are the only times he was getting clipped. Instead of doing that, he would just cover up with one hand and just throw a big bomb and try to stop Diego Lopez in his tracks with that big shot. He would eat one maybe sometimes, but he was throwing one back really, really hard. And he was just stopping. There's, at some point you can't keep running. Other guys just going to keep following you around, keep tracking you around. And you're losing the fight if you're running like that for the most part. You have to eventually just maybe you step back, maybe get at range once, and then the next time they come into range, you just sit down on something like that. Sit down on a punch, and that was what he's doing here. And I think if he did more of that in the Ilia Topuria fight, he probably would have done better. Topuria's coming forward, stalking him, and Volkanovski was always trying to stay at range until he got to the fence, and there was nothing left. Whereas in this fight, he was, moving at a range, staying at range, and then occasionally, when Diego Lopez wasn't expecting it, or just when it felt right, he would sit down on a punch and stand his base, stand his ground. And I think you need to do a little bit more of that against Ilia. But he looked really good in this fight. Diego Lopez looked good in this fight. He probably should have mixed in a little bit more grappling. I don't think he was going to out-grapple Volk. He was really just looking for big shots. But Volkanovski, minus getting rocked by that one shot, looked really good. His chin was there. He ate some big shots from Diego Lopez. And he just had more variety in the striking and more output. Diego Lopez didn't have enough output in the striking. We was looking for, again, we talked about this earlier in the card, like if you're looking for that big shot to finish the fight, even though you have 25 minutes, especially against somebody like Volk, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, it happened with Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, but those are two like last-minute fights, rush fights, and just, you know, two big punchers, one guy up a weight class, and it was a perfect head kick as well. And then Ilia Topuria is a big puncher, but I also don't think Volk fought his best fight there. But anyways, it is what it is. Volk looked really, really good in this fight. It's so awesome to see him back. I think he's gonna... I want to see him. People were saying, Lucas Tracy was saying, like, let's get him out of here. Like, no more fights for Volk. Let him retire. I think I would like to see Volk retire. Or not retire, sorry. Keep fighting. Whether he wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one. I don't mind. I think he's a really, really good fighter, and I really enjoy watching him fight. And I think even if he loses another fight and he wins another fight, it still adds to his legacy. He's just somebody that's super game and loves competition. I really like to see that when it comes to fighting and any sport in general. But great fight from Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopez. It was a really, really fun fight. Diego Lopez was stalking him down in the last round. He needed to do that more from the first round on, where he's just walking Volk down, because clearly he could take Volk's punches, the biggest punches Volkanovski could throw at him. Diego Lopez has got a granite chin. He just eats everything and keeps coming forward. So he should have came forward a little bit more in the early rounds, and he might have had a better fight. But I think it was 4 rounds to 1, or I think 4 rounds to 1, honestly, for Volk. It was a couple of rounds were close, but 4 rounds to 1 for Volk. And Diego Lopez, we need to put him against somebody else. I think the Yair fight makes sense, so let's do that next. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is kind of a long-winded YouTube video on this, and I kind of said some dumb stuff in this video, but it's alright. It's my first MMA video back in weeks. We were just at Swatch 9s, which you can check out on the skiing channel, which was crazy. The craziest skiing setup in the world. But now we're back. We have a week at home. We have a week of MMA classes, and then we're off to Whistler for a month to do some more ski training, and then back here for the summer for MMA and ski training. So gonna be good stuff. We have lots of fights to look forward to coming up. There's UFC Montreal, which is crazy. Wish I could go see it, but I am going to be in Whistler in Vancouver, so that sucks. The 1 week I'm away, the UFC comes to Montreal for the first time in forever. So it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next fight, next video. Deuces.